gentleman called Mitch. He had Merlin for 7 years. 6 of those years he did a really great job with him. I mean, he worked with him. A lot of the wolf dog owners are not educated. They get a wolf dog, they have no idea what to do with them, and within about a year they end up tied to a tree. And we get them when they're about 2 years old, very wolfy and have a lot of issues, and then we have to work with that. In his particular case, he spent 6 years like mixing with college students and doing different things and being very social. He's still very wolfy. He likes to steal things and pull your sleeve and stuff like that. I mean, he's a wolf. But we went to pick him up because Midge had just lost his job, he's lost his house, and he was losing his health. And he'd spent the last year in the backyard with another dog. You know, Midge was one of these tough guys. He worked with machinery, he didn't show a lot of emotion. And we talked for about 2 months before he actually gave him up. He said he was the last positive thing he had left in his life. Paula and I both drove out to Arizona to pick him up, and he put him in a little cage in the back because he said he's gotten really unruly over the last. What happens as Midge got sicker, he got more dominant and more difficult to handle because he started taking the dominant role, which happens with the wolves themselves. Sometimes if one of them gets ill, the other one will take the dominant role. So that was happening with Midge, and he was starting to be afraid of him. So we went over and he had him in a pen in the back. And he said, "I'm not going to let him out." And I said, "No, you have to let him out. I have to meet him." And he said, "Well, he's a little unruly." So he opened up the pen, and this 130-pound animal just came charging at us and grabbed our sleeves. And after a while, just ignoring him and just turning away, he calmed down. And we went back the next day to pick him up. And I gave Midge a big hug. And I said, "I promise I'll make sure he has the best possible life he could have." And Midge was very emotional. I was very emotional. And since that day, he was watching that. Since that day, he's been here for 3 months now. He thinks I'm his daddy. I mean, we have this beautiful relationship. He's a little unruly with some people. And yesterday we had a little game of whose brush is it anyway while I was trying to brush him. And he kept stealing the brush from me and snarling at me. And finally I just laid him down on his side. And he laid down and he put the brush in his mouth and he went, and he pushed it back to me and said, "Okay." He's a character. He's really great. But I think he's going to be one of our best program animals. We're working right now on just giving him a little bit more discipline because he tends to be a little unruly sometimes. But he's getting better and better every day, and he's been on a couple of hikes, and he's been very gentle with people. He's definitely a people person. He's still working on his kiss-to-bite ratio. Sometimes he takes a little lip with him.